Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. I'm Helen Trencher. I'm a volunteer coordinator and a founder of the film festival with Bob. I now would like to invite all the filmmakers who are present. You get an opportunity to come up on stage, and we're going to ask you questions. Who wants to come on? Let's come up on stage. All right. And while they're coming up on stage, I just want to mention a few things. The film festival is in its 9th year, and we're very grateful for Denver Open Media to be hosting it, all right, for several years now. All right. Anyone else? We don't have everyone. Don't be shy. I know who most of you are.
You're going to have to be real close to each other and slide over to the left.
Yeah, okay. All right. Come on.
Turn left.
All right, we can move down a little bit more. A little bit more. All right. Okay.
Number 13.
All right.
Say, all right. So is there
This is for the other filmmakers, and that's for the audience over there. All right. Okay. All right. Just before we want to begin, we want to thank Crazy Mountain Brewery for the beer. Yay! Yay! All right. You can move down a little bit more, everyone. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. They supplied the beer for the festival, and if you like different flavors, please visit them on 5th and Calumet. And also, most importantly, we want to thank the filmmakers who are here this evening and who have come this weekend. Yay, filmmakers, everyone, yay, filmmakers. All right, so for sharing your passions and your creative vision. And before I have any questions to ask, before we do anything else, what I'd like to do is I have a second microphone here. I want every filmmaker who is present to share your name and the film you're representing. Just do that real quick. Just pass it down.
Stefan Mitchell, and I'm representing Requiem Lost.
All right. Thank you.
Harry Schaefer, maker of Eggs with Legs.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm Michael Johnson. I directed Axios.
Thank you.
Peter Lively, Overpass.
I'm Johnny Mayo, and I'm representing Hometown.
I'm Alvin Sexton, and I did Number 42 Dream, and that's Number 42 Dream. It's not hashtag 42 Dream, so.
All right.
I'm Tamara Lester, and I was part of the Magic Music film.
Chris Daniels, and I'm part of 40 Years in Making, the Magic Music movie.
My name is Max Berlin, and I represent and am the film composer for the movie Aquarium.
I'm Daryl Della, and I made Shadows in the Snow.
All right, great.
My name is Michael Martin, and I'm also representing Shadows in the Snow.
Autumn Wong, director of feature film Paradise.
All right, thank you.
My name is Han Wu, and I'm here with Autumn, representing the Paradise. And we have our lead actor there, Alex Demir, sitting all the way back there.
Yay! All right. Well, thank you. Just hold it, and then we're just going to go passing back and forth. But hold it for just a second. First, I want to open up the questions to anyone in the audience. Does anyone in the audience have any questions for any of our filmmakers present? We have a microphone right there. We have one person coming. Yay! Woo! Okay.
I would like to ask about Axios. I wanted to know if there was any kind of a personal representation in the film, any kind of personal experience that kind of reflected on your views of military service or any kind of cadet training.
Thank you.
Yeah, Axios is a very personal film for me. It's a military film. I grew up within the military. My dad was in the Marine Corps. I grew up in junior ROTC, and it was just kind of about a story about a boy trying to identify what it means to be a male, and he chooses incorrectly by using hypermasculinity and violence. So it's really just about me kind of when I was becoming a man in my own right, understanding my own maturity and understanding what that means by the difference between maturity versus masculinity and doing the right thing.
Thank you. Cool. All right. Any other questions from audience members? Okay. I have questions. All right. One question, and it's open to anyone here up on stage. What was the most difficult part in bringing your film to light? We'll just pass it down. Anyone? Let's go this way and then that way.
I think finding funding is always a very difficult thing, and probably everybody up here will agree with me on that. To be able to make a film, it takes a little bit of money, even if you're doing it with your friends and your family and everybody else. That you still have to feed everybody. You still have sometimes costuming and wardrobe, and there's just costs that are associated with putting one together. So coming up with the money for that was kind of probably the most difficult part of it.
All right, thank you. Just pass it.
Hey, making an animated film doesn't take as much money, just much more time. So as a student, I had to let some other classes slip behind as I finished my film, and that was probably the hardest part. Take it away.
I think for me personally, it was just maintaining the through line, just making sure that it was relatable, that is accessible to everyone, and everyone understood what the main plot was.
Mine was kind of a small little story, and I think a little bit similar. Finding the story in a small little story in such a kind of encapsulated space, and still keep it interesting to an audience, have an arc, kind of like that challenge. So that was probably the hardest.
Thank you.
So for me, in my music video, I had to carry all my instruments around the city of Tampa, Florida, and set them up all around the city, hoping no one was going to tell me to stop, because they were very loud. At least the drums were. So, yeah, that's probably the hardest part.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Did you have a hard time, going from location to location, getting permission from people, or did you just kind of wing it?
Well, we had to get the permission from a few people, but most of the time I had to wing it. Honestly. Yeah. So that's it.
Okay, well, my greatest challenge, speaking as an animator as well, was just physically creating over 5,000 individual pen and ink drawings to finish it. And it was kind of one of those that I never ever thought I would get to the finish point, but a little bit here, a little bit there, and I made it.
I didn't do much. They just interviewed me, so I think I got the easy part, but it was fun.
I was kind of involved in a lot of the archiving, and then eventually involved in a lot of the legal matters. And if you get into film and then distribution, there was a sub-story underneath the Magic Music movie, which was that Tim Goodman, a wonderful guy who produced this record, felt very empowered about what he was doing, and Lee was very empowered about what he was doing, and they were not necessarily on the same track. And when it came to doing the legal matters, a lot of the things that I wound up doing was being a sort of a Henry Kissinger. Maybe that's the bad one. Let's use a different one. There's got to be a better one. But a lot of shuttle diplomacy trying to keep things going. And the legal matters became really difficult at certain times. But the nice thing about it is that everybody kept their eye on the prize. And the eye on the prize was what it means to be our age. And give you a quick story on this. Two of the members that you saw in that film, not the members of the band, well, one of the members of the band, one of them just went through open heart surgery and he's fine. He's going to be okay. But one of the others in that film, a guy named Scott Roach, is now in the terminal stages of cancer. And everybody kept their eye on the prize that this was about relationships that last over a lifetime. And so even though the legal stuff got hard, everybody all of a sudden just kept rising above it and going, what are we after? and what are we after, and what are we after, and keeping our eyes on the prize. And how that's turning out is, for the first time, we recorded tons of 2-track masters, and those are now going to be released thanks to the Orchard, and they're going to come out on Sony Records and be on Spotify, which means we're going to make about 12 cents per, yeah, ooh. But I mean, that was it. The whole thing was keeping the eyes on that idea of what a lifetime of friendship and love and relationships mean. And we did it, which was amazing. And it's a tribute to everybody that worked on it.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would say the most difficult part of the production of Aquarium was quite frankly putting all the moving parts together. I had a really unique experience being a film composer and also in many ways a filmmaker, because it was a non-narrative film, and so in many ways music became a character in itself. So finding a way to, as a musician, be reactive to the film, but also in a way where you felt like you were adding something that Stephanie Maxwell, the filmmaker, had really intended, and I couldn't have been more happy with the product.
That's lovely.
So we shot our film in some inclement weather, very cold snow, and our lead actor at one point threw up a bunch of red stuff, and I thought he was going to be dead. Turns out he informed me that it was just pizza sauce.
Why?
I would echo Daryl's comments about the most painful part was actually trudging through the snow for the cast and the crew for most of the production.
Just being around the rest of the cast and crew.
Yeah, that's yeah. There you go.
The hardest part to me was to stay alive. Like, for a guy like me, because I did a feature film, it's 120 minutes long, and I just realized it was back in China. I want to do another film back in China. China has no developed independent film market and spirit there. Here we have. So I just went pitching for money for years, and people would see my young face. They won't trust me. You want to do a 120 minutes long film? What you experienced? How'd you convince me? I mean, I understand. So I have to come up with enough money, so I don't have to endure all the bullshit anymore. So come up with enough money on my own. So I worked on commercials, like whole tons of commercials for 2 years, saved up enough money to come here, shoot my feature film, and that's just the starting point of the difficulties. And every day, just you have insurance or you don't have insurance, you have permit bounced, insurance bounced, or you have to shoot without a permit. But every toughness, thank God to my great crew and great cast. So I'm still alive, and the film just come to light. Thanks.
Thank you. Time for one more question? All right. So, 180 degrees. What was the final question for all of us? And then we'll go to the karaoke. What was the most fun aspect of creating your piece, your film? And we can start with you again, sir. The most fun. What was you'll take away from it?
When we rapped. when we rapped, like I could finally tell myself, you don't have to die anymore. Stay in this way, and it's a moment like it's the most fun part, and also it's the saddest part, because I know now it's into the endless post-production time. When you run out of money, you don't have money for DCP, for coloring, for Foley sound or everything. But it's the last day you got to work with all the fantastic crew and my fantastic actors. You don't see the chemistry anymore. It's only not that saying post-production is not important. Just the day when we wrapped is the happiest day and the saddest day.
All right, thank you.
I would say for me or for us, some of the more fun moments and memories were in between shots, just kind of hanging around. We were all kind of happy and miserable together in the snow. So as we were setting up or trying to get warm, it was just kind of fun just sharing that misery together. So yeah.
Thank you.
Well, while we were watching it today, I couldn't stop laughing because I kept remembering how uncomfortable my friend Ray was in the actual snow. And then also how uncomfortable he is watching himself on screen. So both of those really
I can relate to that, yes.
filled my heart with joy.
Nice. For me, the most happy part of the process was actually also the most difficult. I mean, for me, the chance and the reason why I like to be involved with film and be involved with music is for the same reason, which is that I like to be creative with other people. For me, that's the reason I keep going. That's the reason why I want to be involved in this, is that for me, film and stage and all these other wonderful multimedia elements are ways for minds to get together and compromise and to put something together. And even though that can be difficult and there is compromise, which is difficult, it's the reason why we do it for me.
It's the creative collaboration.
Yeah, and so when I actually got to find a way that I could write music that worked with a vision, that to me was the most difficult but the most happy part of the process.
Thank you.
Boy, it's a hard question for me, but I'll take you there really quickly. 8 years ago, right now, I was in a hospital with a 5% chance to live. I had acute myeloid leukemia, and I got a bone marrow transplant from my sister, which is fabulous. I recommend it. All girl bone marrow, and it's fantastic. But the process of this coming about, literally somebody walking in and saying, I want to do a movie about music that you made 40 years ago with a bunch of your dearest friends and want to bring it to the screen. It was a joyous day. I get up every day and I'm thank the good Lord that I got one more. But to have this, I mean, this is the cherry on top of the strawberry, on top of the float, on top of the, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. So that's what it was for me.
For me, it was getting to see so many friends that I have not seen in 40 years, like seeing CW and hearing him sing Lynn's song was really overwhelming. He did such a beautiful job, and it really went right to my soul. And seeing some of those people that I, again, hadn't seen in 40 years was it was amazing.
Yeah, I can relate. That's pretty much the same thing for me, was just getting all my friends involved and, you know, approaching them, hey, you're a musician, I need some music for this part, and you look good on camera, so I need some background filler there, and right, yeah, so just getting my friends involved, and then secondly, just getting to have them here and getting to see it on screen, yeah, right? So yeah, that was the most rewarding part, was.
Thank you.
For me, it was probably getting to see the finished product of something that I put a lot of time and effort into, that I had to get over, just worrying about opinions, worrying about what other people think, and just knowing that I'm going to be me right now in a video. And I love hearing about you guys playing with other musicians and everything. I also enjoy playing with myself, just on the bass and the drums and the guitar. Yeah, so that was fun. Yeah, well, there you go. Well, there's that. Just watching the finished product, that was just amazing. Watching my friend Caleb Osterling do his thing, it was amazing. And yeah, so there's that.
Thank you.
I think my favorite thing was having the challenge of creating a story from just one conversation. And just kind of having somewhat of an artificial constraint and seeing if I could do something with that. That was fun. I was pleased with how it came out.
Thank you.
I think for me, the most rewarding, if not most fun part of creating is just the ability to get screened and telling my cast and crew that other people not involved with the production are going to watch your work and watch your talent. And it's very important. You know, a lot of people go into pre-production, they give up. They go into production, they give up. They go into post-production, they give up. But to actually complete a project and say it's done and submit it to a festival and have strangers watch your work, even critique your work, is very rewarding and very fun. And telling your cast and crew, like, hey, people other than me like your work, and you should be very proud. And that was very rewarding for me.
Doing the voice was definitely the most fun part for me, because if you did see it, you'd know why. I did it really late and woke everybody up, and that was a ton of fun. And the rest of the sound effects I did all myself too, and just putting that in there and finally seeing the realization of it all coming together is the best feeling.
Thank you.
I think as I was directing the film, I didn't realize, because it was actually my first film directing, I didn't realize the family that was actually developing and coming together, and the fact that these people are really going to be lifetime friends with me and with each other. And I think that was probably the funnest part of the whole process, is just realizing, that from that film something else was generated and created as well. So,
Thank you. Well, thank you all for being here this evening, everyone. A round of applause. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is we have our after party. We have a live DJ and karaoke. So that will be in our lounge, and everyone here is welcome to come. So thanks again so much. All right, we're done.